everybody. We should be back. Hopefully the stream will be a smidge better now. We are going to find out. Keep us posted. And kind of let us know and give us some of that positive, awesome feedback. So last we were with you, like a minute and a half ago. Yeah, it's already dropping frames like crazy. I don't know what's up, crew. Last we were with them, a group of soulless had managed to find this cul-de-sac on the outskirts of a small town on Long Island, not far actually from the kind of like coastline, the southern coastline. They begin ransacking the house, and we left as you guys feel the warmth of the garage as it catches fire, and it catches fire very quickly. Everything here is dry and dead. We'll say you guys, she knows this path well, so it doesn't take you very long to get where you need to go. You do, how many of you have actually left the house before?
I've left.
Okay. So,
Mikey probably has. Mikey was a little bit of a karaoke star, so.
Once upon a time, I was in Switzerland, but that was many, many, many moons ago. And then I got shipped here, and I got opened up and installed into this table in the house.
So since your new birth,
how
many of you
never
have been outside the house? That's a good question. All right, okay, so really just you. So this is quite new to all of you. Now, you've been able to peer out. You know what the backyard looks like. You know what's back there. But you can feel the weight of your giant sewing machine as it seeps into the kind of dry, crusty dirt as you rock back and forth. The ground seems
terrible
to be
for my
dead.
foundation.
Yes, it is. Dust kicks up as the five of you very quickly make haste down towards what is now an empty pond bed. A kind of chasm sits there, roughly about 10 foot deep, 40 feet across. It's a small fishing pond. The bones and dead carcasses of fish lie on the riverbed, and it looks like a few, maybe appliances have fallen in, almost like a trap and not been able to get back out. Like the pit, it's a pit. What do all of you do as you literally watch? You can see the house now burning up in flames. The whole thing has caught fire.
My curtains, my upholstery.
You know I have some tapes in there.
Oh, I just realized I don't have the records any. Oh.
Don't
Hold
worry,
on.
Vinny. I saved one for you.
Oh, what?
I saved you a record.
Oh. What? You didn't have to do that. I've got one right here.
Well, you know, I figured maybe you could play it for old time's sake, Vinny. Play as time goes by.
I don't think right now is an appropriate time.
Yeah, I was on that same boat.
We should probably actually get on the boat.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're already here. I guess. All right. Let's.
Can't be too much farther, yeah?
I think. Yeah.
Need to.
I don't really know though. It's been a long time.
I think she's the only one that's been out here.
Yeah. So this dried out. But is it like a sort of like a pit almost?
Yeah, it's basically a pit now. It kind of dips inwards, because it, like I said, it was kind of a shallow little like fishing pond. It from baseline down is about 10 feet when you hit the kind of lowest point.
Yeah, maybe we should either find a way around or something, construct some sort of rudimentary bridge to get us across.
We could probably walk around it.
Can I see a
I've
safe
got some momentum in me.
passage?
You can, I mean, with the naked eye, you can definitely go all the way around. There is one problem with going around, which only those that have been here before will know, which is that one side of the pond is home to a series of, like a grouping of engines, car engines, blocks that are a bit crude and rough. They tend to live in this area. That's their side of the pond. The opposite side of the pond would be safer, but it's more visible from the house.
So, this side over here will be easier for the soulless to be able to see us from the house, but if we go the other way, there's some pretty tough car engines that way. It might not like us trespassing through the area.
Have you dealt with them before?
I may have talked to one or two of them in the past.
Did you say something wrong and now they hate you because you have a reputation?
It's a little more complicated than that, if you know what I mean.
I'm not worried.
Well, maybe if we tell them there are soulless in the area, then they will leave us alone and flee themselves.
Or they might get mad at us because they might think we're leading them to them.
Nah, don't worry
This
about it.
tricky label maker.
Well, if we don't present it in that kind of fashion, then maybe they'll be less inclined to believe it's that way. But
Okay, but if we don't, yes, when we go through there, we should try to position ourselves so that they are between us and the soulless, though. So if the soulless do catch wind of us,
I'm
then-
not very stealthy, so I don't think being in the open would be very good.
Yeah,
Me neither.
yeah.
It's about this time that you see the vacuum from the house come tumbling down the path, has followed you guys out. Its bag is on fire. Its old bag as it burns. The skeletal piece and frame of it seems to be okay, and it comes to a tumbling halt.
Stop, drop, and roll!
Kenny Kenmore, drop, roll.
And you see the vacuum as it comes to a halt at all of your feet, kind of here on the banks of this dried up pond. It looks up at you. Its eyes actually are on the underside of the vacuum, like where the bristles are. It makes a mustache for this vacuum. And it coughs and poofs out the last of soot dust that has burned up on its insides. I'm not gonna make it.
Kenny! No!
Because it reaches out with its its outlet, wraps it around the boombox and pulls it real close and says, "Tell the mop that I loved her."
Is it 2 prongs or 3 prongs?
Hold on.
It's 3-pronged, duh.
All right, good.
Just try to hold on.
Hey, there's nothing left for me. Look,
What happened? What happened to you?
They raided the house,
Oh.
killed everything. They're headed this way.
So good.
I think we should risk the engines.
You
We
just
have to get
hear
out.
you just hear behind Billy. Burn, burn, burn. Burn, burn, burn.
Could I quick
Wrestling friend.
pop the vacuum cleaner open to check if there's anything useful inside it?
I love it.
It does. So it
Unbelievable.
dies. You watch as the remainder of this wholly
Kenmore.
burnt up bag goes limp, and when it does, when an appliance passes on, it loses the sentient piece of itself and goes back to just being an appliance. So its eyes and face dissipate as it goes back to simply being an old push vacuum. And you begin, this label maker, you begin to rip it apart. There are a few things that could be very, very helpful. The wheels of the vacuum could be extraordinarily helpful. The turning bristle could potentially be helpful. And it's it is full of small screws and things like that, which could be yep. That's that.
Wah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna grab what I can.
What are you doing? What are you doing to Kenny?
Herr Kenmore! Nein!
Wrapped around me?
Payments,
That's
trading,
What do you
crafting
want?
stuff. You know how it is. Let's go.
Yeah.
He was an appliance.
Yeah, he was an appliance.
Rest now, my friend. The journey's over.
Rest in pieces.
It's about this time that you hear the small zzz sound as 2 spark plugs that are passing electricity back and forth to keep one another working. They kind of have to use one another. They walk up and go, the engines aren't gonna be real glad you're standing on our territory. Yeah, not happy.
Yeah, tell them the Victrolas are here, all right? Don't worry about it.
If we're just passing through, we won't be in here for very
Speaking of
long.
passing, we had a friend who just passed away here. So do you mind giving us a second here?
The sparks like as they pass information back into just to one another. And he goes, "You mean the bagless vacuum?"
Okay, all right. Whoa, all right.
Shut your mouth.
He goes,
Kenny was a wonderful, wonderful sucker.
they walk up to kind of the group and begin passing through. You've seen these guys before. They're basically just grunts for the larger block engines. The rest of you, they kind of take you guys in. They say, you don't look like the kind that just walks out of the house.
Are you kidding me? I've been out of the house hundreds of times. All the time. I just walk around. I've made my runs around the cul-de-sac.
He goes, yeah, 100 years ago.
You know what you guys look like?
Your mouth.
You guys look like a couple of fools that want to get ripped.
He goes, look, we didn't mean any harm by it. Just some fun. Look. We just want to know, why is it burning? Why is the house burning? Did you guys trip a breaker or something? Things go bad? What happened?
Gotta keep.
You guys ask a lot of questions.
Things escalated quickly. I'm the new gang leader.
He's the biggest.
I started a coup, and now I'm moving on to new territory. Not interested in your swamp. I'm on to the next cul-de-sac.
I'm gonna make you roll a deceive. Because they may actually believe you. This is the kind of political appliance stuff that goes down.
It's Menzo Baranzan
And
type
then
stuff.
I'm gonna let the boombox also make you were making kind of like a like almost like an intimidation check is really what it was, which is provoke is what we call it. So if you wanted to make a provoke check, if you have that, or you can always take it. Remember, you guys had a few slots left open. You can make a provoke check and make sure that if you have any bonuses, you add those to the roll.
Right.
Cool.
During this, I guess the rolling here.
Did it add my proficiency? I guess it did.
It did.
+2. Dang!
What was that, Myth?
I guess during this rolling here, Vinny has turned away as everybody was talking to these spark plugs after he said, "Hey, the Victrolas are here," whatever. He turned away and started some sort of makeshift service, something that he's done. Usually, maybe one of the being a part of the Victrola family, it could have been something that he has done in the past when stuff goes down. It's been a long time since he's seen death, but it's not foreign to him. But he does say, Kenny, you were a good vacuum, though you were a sucker at times. You spent your life eating nothing but dust, but it is today that you finally truly bid it. Adieu, good friend. And then I waddle back over to everybody else.
It lays in pieces where the label maker has already ripped it apart.
Rest in pieces.
Rest in pieces. You even as you walk off, kind of brush it down into the pit to give it a final resting place with the rest of the appliances that have fallen themselves into this hole. Kind of a mass grave, really. Now, at a 6 provoke skill, as they're trying to believe whether or not this sewing machine is for real has taken over and become kind of like the grandmother mafia leader, the boombox literally, as chat said, drops the bass and scares the pants off of these spark plugs.
Boom.
Yeah, when you let it out, it actually forces the two of them apart, making their spark not as like strong anymore, and you can see they kind of like fade in energy because it only works when they're bouncing off one another, and they're like,
it was arcing. Oh, cool.
yeah, it was like arcing between them to feed each other.
Yeah, passive.
And they're kind of like, hey, look, we didn't mean any trouble. We could talk to, the motors. If you want us to talk, we could talk to the motors.
I said, shut your mouth. Shut it. Shut your mouth.
Baptism just tells them we're passing through.
They look to the boombox to give them, because you're the one that they're like all eyes on.
Oh, yes, we're passing through. You let your people know we're passing through, but say it quietly and be quick about it.
And they kind of hop off, alternating, sharing the spark between them. And they hop off the kind of open clearing where this pond sits, and you see emerge from the tree, well, the kind of barren tree line, a bunch of car blocks and engines. Some of them roll out and are in pieces. Other of them actually sit on dollies that they've almost become one with and been attached to. And they kind of squeak out and line up against the tree line.
Yeah, I'm just walking along the lakeshore on that side, trying to put on my best treadle machine swagger.
They stand there. They don't say anything. The spark plugs kind of at their feet still. It seems that they have potentially allowed you passage. They don't seem to be taking a hostile action towards you. How about that?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just gonna focus on, be like, step on the pedal, you'll go faster.
Yes.
100 stitches per minute.
Move quickly. Move quickly.
I'm just jumping up and down on that pedal.
They rev their engines as you guys walk by.
I just pretend they're not there.
They breathe hot dirt and air down on all of you, especially the smaller appliances like the microphone.
You just...
I want to...
Dust poofs out of the like foam padding on the end.
I don't really like this.
I'm going to play my left cassette and drop a nice heavy beat. Boom, 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 boom.
The more music.
Boom, boom.
Mikey leans closer and just tries to elevate the sound any that he can.
It begins to pick up. No problem. I would say, unless, wait, what is your troubled aspect? Because I may put in our very first, I may use my very first DM fate point. What is your troubled aspect, Mikey?
Which one is the troubled one?
That's the second one, the one that causes conflict in your life.
They lose their voice regularly.
Yeah, so I'm going to gift you a fate point if you kind of allow me to have your box malfunction, and it cuts out, and as you try to bring it back in, it elevates the sound, and it echoes through the empty valley.
Yeah, give it to me.
Yeah, so as you lean in, it starts out perfect, and you guys are like strutting, walking past. You guys have, diplomasied your way out of this situation with these block engines, and as you lean over to add to the volume, it's unfortunately
Walking back, and like these like flames behind us. We're just walking past these badass car engines. Like, yeah, we own this.
You were all on a table sewing machine as you're.
Oh my god! I imagine my grandmother's had actual drawers in it, like built onto the block that are like the table.
Oh, probably. You guys are like probably like microphones sitting in a drawer.
Yeah. So I imagine too the things you guys are collecting, the batteries, the parts from the vacuum cleaner. These things are being stored in your sewing machine. And as you guys rock past, almost in slow motion, back
my sewing machine bag like flung over my shoulder, which is just the corner.
Right. We get that as the record literally scratches, and the sound booms too loud, squealing that feedback squeal that happens in those old microphones with the D batteries, and it echoes out and across the valley. The engines rev loudly as you guys walk past, knowing, and one of them goes, "Look!" As I don't know how it points, but it does, with something attached to its block up the valley.
It's a dipstick.
And it has alerted the couple soulless that were left setting the house on fire, that you guys are down here. They begin, you can see them trailing. They're a ways off. They've got about a quarter of a mile to trek to get to you, but it's uphill, so they're coming kind of downhill into this valley. And you can see them dodging through the barren woods.
When did those guys show up?
This might be my fault. I'm really sorry.
Don't say anything in front of the engines.
The engine goes, "We must go." As they work together.
Engines will distract them as more enticing appliances.
Hey, you know what? This is okay. Here's how we do this. So this is another cool thing about Fate that we haven't really brought up, which are something called game aspects and situational aspects. In this case, we talked about them being, I actually said it, that they were very loud. Loud engines.
Mhm.
When they take notice of the noise, as these soulless come down the hill, you can, if you wanted to, spend a fate point to make it, Lindy, so that the soulless go after the engines and not all of you, because they're actually louder
Yeah.
as a collective.
That sounds good. A louder distraction.
Yep.
For us
Louder
to
and distraction, yep.
get the space, yeah.
So yeah, you take a fate point and spend it towards it. So basically, it becomes a difficult piece for, I guess, my characters or my NPCs. And so, as they come down, even though they can see you guys kind of pettering off deeper into the
They're
woods-
like treadle sewing machine and gramophone. The next two largest appliances on this table.
Exactly.
Bunch of car parts and engines.
So,
Yeah.
So the engines are like, oh, bro, as they try to kind of like move, but they're stupid heavy. These blocks, and the soulless are on top of them in no time. And you can hear them as the battle ensues, the tinging of weapons and tools against the metal infrastructure of their engine bodies, I guess. And they seem rightfully distracted at the moment. Where do you guys go from here? Are we tumbling, just going through the woods as fast as we can go?
Yeah, I go through the woods just like until someone gives me a direction.
Right.
You know?
Hey,
With the momentum.
Chelsea, you know how in like old thick boom boxes, like with antenna, you could like pick up CB radio things like that.
Yep.
Can I be like, hey Billy, let me just try to do something, and just playing with Billy's knobs and trying to tune it to see if I can pick up playing with Billy's knobs.
Careful.
You too.
All right. Oh, no, that's it. Right there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And trying to pick up maybe that signal again, or a new message or something.
A new message.
Yeah.
Yeah, this actually, because it is going to be a little bit, let's see. This is probably... No, I would say you can just do this. As you kind of like, eek, and you bring it in and out, and you begin to try to pick up on a radio signal. It goes on for a while, and all you hear is static, as you guys just move through the woods, trying to just outrun and get out of the scene of this. You actually come across for the first time solid ground, something that's not dirt, asphalt, potentially an old highway or road. It, of course, is barren, but you guys kind of look left and right, and it seems to be this kind of winding road that leads who knows where. You're not really sure yet. And as you hit the road, of course, and you tap in to the same message that was playing earlier. As it, again, like I said, it was on repeat. And you continue to dial looking for other messages, and it takes you a minute, and sure enough, you do. You come across a radio station that seems to be run by a, who knows, a rogue or some kind of pirate radio. And he talks kind of to himself. You're not really sure how long this radio station's been like working and functioning, but he says, for all you appliances out there that are trapped today, just you remember, tomorrow's a new day. And he continues to kind of like talk at the radio, making jokes as if he may be stuck somewhere, and just all he can do is broadcast radio waves. And he continues, it's pretty big news that a island of trash is supposed to be floating up the East Coast. And he says, I've got a song for that. And as he tries to, kind of fumble, you hear him on the back end of the radio, and then he starts up again. Just kidding. And he starts to talk, and kind of talk show hosty, but there's nobody there to talk to. And he just kind of continues and goes on. And after a while, he lets slip where he's located, which is, he calls it the radio station in Cartersville, which is a small town that you're all actually located in, like this house and cul-de-sac are in Cartersville.
Would I know anything more about the directions of Cartersville?
Ooh, that is a resource roll.
Okay, I have the same resources of lore, so it'd be either. Let's see.
Yeah, that's the resource roll.
See if I know anything about Cartersville.
You know, you passed through Cartersville when they brought you into the house for the first time years and years and years ago. And you know that that's where they would do things like go grocery shopping, see a film, the old couple, and there was a little diner in town where they like to go have Sunday brunch together.
Mm-hmm.
I would give anybody else want to maybe make a roll for that? And I would say too, you said you were a karaoke mic.
Yeah.
Let's actually say that your karaoke was in this town. Like, he used to bring you into town and do karaoke at this small bar.
He brought his own mic. What a weirdo.
Yeah, he brings his own mic.
Bring your own mic to a
It was
karaoke.
the 80s. It's his favorite mic. It's his favorite mic.
Good luck, Mike. Make you sound good.
Mikey feels so loved.
Why don't you take a +1 to your roll if you two would like to roll a resources? And we'll just say, since you've come in and out a few times, you're kind of coming a back way that you don't usually go, but we'll see if you can't figure it out. Yeah, sure enough. You take it all in and you're like, I've been here before. And you kind of look towards what is actually the east. And sure enough, you're like, oh yeah, just up this road. This will lead us into town. And you kind of lead the way and guide the crew. You guys walk for about 2 miles, which takes you quite a while on the back of a sewing machine.
Hey, at least I won't run out of juice.
This is true. Did we?
True.
Yeah. Did you? Is the plan to travel on the back of the sewing machine?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's working.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's working. So
hasn't failed us yet.
I'm going to have you make a drive check to see how quickly you move with all these appliances and supplies in your drawers. It may be weighing you down a bit.
Okay, a drive check.
A drive check. You've never been on asphalt before. Like, this is
I've
all like
not.
totally new.
Do we
So
take
different.
wheels from the guy? Because we didn't do that.
You did. You can try to attach them. Nobody.
we did? Okay.
Yeah, you can actually try to attach them.
Oh
if you
yeah,
want
if
to.
someone wants to
Definitely
attach
can-
wheels
yeah.
onto my
I was thinking
frame,
I would do that.
I would allow it.
I would take like the screws and the wheels and try to attach them to, like to the
Okay.
pedal, so the pedal would
How?
be spinning the wheels, and
That's my favorite part. Is how.
Yeah, I've got an. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know why, but I picture that your label tape is just like super dexterous.
Yeah,
That you
it's
do, like-
prehensile label tape.
Just
Yeah.
like stick it there and like.
Yeah, hold it. So here's what I'm gonna do then. Let's have you make a crafts check, is what that's considered.
yep.
To craft on these wheels to the bottom.
Of the craft machine.
Of the craft machine. Yeah, we've made the craft machine more crafty. I love this. It's so weird having to use these skills with non-humanoid things. I'm sorry, what did
It
you roll?
really is.
I'm sure she could help or something, right?
Yeah, can I help? Can I
Yeah,
assist?
sure. So I mean, you
I
guys
can hold
all
the
assist.
screw in place with some thread.
I mean,
like,
you got you
level
got
it.
all of them could potentially help. Like the boombox is probably going to need to help prop you up to one side to get one leg up to put a wheel on it, and like you know,
Or
there's
one
like
leg.
got to be things that happen to make it a reality.
I need somebody to spin my gear as fast as I can.
I can spin your gear.
Actually, I got it. Here, give me some of that string. All right, put it on here.
Right, so
Right
you are?
around the handle. Yep. Okay. Now everybody
Close.
on the pedal as fast as you can.
Okay. Whoa.
All right. So using the pedal from the needle machine, which is also called a sewing machine, myth. From the sewing machine, we now have a super fast spinning record player. So what I'm going to do is turn myself sideways, and with the pin that holds the record in, I'm going to, using friction, bore a hole through
Love
one of
this
the.
so much, like make it easier to get the screw in.
Uh-huh.
You go around and like, and it takes you every time you have to like recharge. It does wear your needle down a smidge. So this is what we're gonna do for this.
Oh, it's not my needle. It's the peg that holds. It's
that
the metal.
holds
peg.
it. That's okay. So it is metal. Okay, cool. So in
So
that
I'm burning
case,
a hole through it
Yeah,
with friction rather than like scraping a hole.
I don't actually know that there's anything that you could like do to make that, unless you wanted to make like a physique
I don't know.
check. But that would
just
be just a
narratively is
thing
what I'm
you
doing.
do. Yeah, I don't think that there's a check you have to make. You just kind of burrow.
I wasn't even
these
thinking of
holes in.
rolling. Yeah, that's just what I'm doing.
And you prepped it, which makes her life easier. So you can take a +1 to the crafts check if you want, because you basically can just set the screws in without having to.
Okay. Let's do this then. 5.
Yes, I definitely like marked with dressmaker's chalk and measured exactly like so that my wheels would be level.
Yeah, so it's super level. Out of 5, you are now a driving machine. You've become more like a vehicle and less like a table.
Can you steer? We didn't fashion steering.
I would say
yet.
at a 5 craft, this label maker not only hooks you up with wheels, but uses all the parts of the vacuum that were left along with what was collected from the house to create some kind of driving
like
or steering shift. Yeah, like a handlebar, some kind of steering system. You know how those vacuums used to have the double, like the Y? Yeah. Like the Y
carpet
handles.
Floor. Yeah.
Yeah, so all of those pieces kind of got refurbished. So you unfortunately now have vacuum parts attached to your outsides, but you are a much more functional. So here's what I'll say. As long as your wheels stay intact and you take no damage to the external stuff that she gave you, you can always take a +2 to drive, because it's not so much about how well you drive as how quickly and dexterously you do it as a sewing machine with wheels.
I have like put on some superfluous like spikes and things to make it look kind of scary.
Did you somehow did you print out labels in the shape of flames, because obviously that makes it go faster? I mean, clearly that's how vehicles work.
Thankfully, Bernita can't see her legs. She doesn't realize. She's just like, oh, good feels.
And I put a label on the side of her that says "Going Machine."
Going
nice.
machine. For those of you at home that are questioning the dice system, just for those of you that know, this is kind of the average dice table. Oops, it just went away. It'll come back. Dice table for Fate is -2 to 8. 8 being considered a legendary action. So a 5 is a really good roll. A really, really good roll. I'll leave that there so you guys can see it when it comes back. It's considered superb.
All right.
So good stuff. So I would say our situation has now changed. So
yeah, sweet. +2 to drive.
+2 to drive now, as long as your wheels stay intact and all the pieces seem to stay intact. So the next thing I'm going to do. Why is this snapping? I would like no snapping, please. I'm going to fill in a few new situational aspects as well as some game aspects, because I think both are coming into play. So in Fate aspects, like I said, are things that Fate points can be used to either make the player's life more difficult or my life as a GM more difficult, which is what we did with those loud engines. This time around, though, you guys are traveling down an open road on wheels. And you're headed in. So in terms of situation, we're going to wait on those until we get to town, because there'll be new situational aspects when we get to town. But our game aspects, we have a few things that have come into play, which is, I'm going to put this one down, race against time. You are a race against time. You only have about a week, it said, is what it's coming up the East Coast. It will stop last at Long Island. So that will be an aspect that is in play this whole time. That you can use Fate points for to activate in some interesting storytelling way, or I could do the same. And let's see, I'm going to add one more. There was one earlier that I wanted. You've been spotted. They know you're out there.
Perfect.
They saw you. So those will be the 2 new aspects that's in play. They know that there is a sewing machine, gramophone, label maker, boombox, and microphone, cordless microphone that are traveling together. They're out there somewhere.
Plus, we're like traveling down Meadowbrook Parkway, right in the open.
Basically, yes. How I picture you guys are like, as you're just like the wheels. These wheels from a vacuum cleaner are carrying you guys.
Plastic wheels, just rattling off the asphalt.
Rattling.
Yeah.
You guys make it to the center of this small town. It is very much like you would picture it. Small diner, stores, a hardware shop line a center kind of main street. The bodies of those that died in the initial explosion, their skeletons lay about, as if some of them died instantaneous upon the radiation that hit them, and they simply were left. Every shop here has broken out windows. Nothing seems to be left, and it is dead quiet, like a ghost town. As you roll in, all that you can hear is the sound of your plastic wheels against crunchy asphalt.
We heard a radio from this town, so can I look? I know that Boombox, Billy Boombox, Mr. Boxer runs off of an antenna. He can pick up the radio, so can I look around and see if I see any radio antennas?
You sure can. You can roll a notice if you'd like. And I'd actually, if you want to roll a notice as well, Billy, simply because you're like actually radio wave connected to it, you may be able to pinpoint it differently.
I will try to use
I have superb hearing because of my bell.
Oh.
So,
you also could roll a notice.
In the right direction. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a notice as you kind of literally roll into town. Because there may be other things to notice than just the whoop. Whoop. Okay, well, unfortunately, you guys don't notice anything. The boombox, though, you watch as your antenna, like, almost bends in a certain direction, as if the radio waves get stronger, and it pulls you in. Yeah, and you become kind of a beep, 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 beep.
It's over here. It's over here.
All right.
Some real strong vibes over here.
I should probably check ahead and make sure there's not any danger, right?
If you would like.
Do a little investigation.
Reconnaissance.
Will you be okay on your own?
No.
Okay, that's honest.
I wasn't really offering to go with you, but now I feel like I should, otherwise it's rude.
Probably shouldn't.
What company?
Aww. There's a reverb and it asks a second time. It has its own reverb.
Going.
It just gets more.
Just let it go.
With the minute Lavilia's gone, you can, however possible, you can see Mikey's just sigh of relief in his mind. He didn't want him to come with.
And you scutter along. You begin to kind of scout things out. It looks relatively empty. This town seems to have been mostly picked dry, all in all. But as you go closer, like in the direction where his antenna is pointing, connecting to these radio waves, you see that there is a radio antenna. It doesn't seem to be stuck to the top of the building, as if maybe not to draw attention to itself. It's stuck out from the side of the building, so it stays at the same height as all the rest of the buildings, and it is sparking. As if it maybe is pulling electricity from somewhere. Very unstable electricity. It's attached to a bar, to an old bar, and that's pretty much all you know. Is that this looks to be kind of an old bar. The open sign stands broken, the neon. Yeah.
I sort of do a cursory investigation to make sure, see if there's any
Sure. You don't want to be noticed, I'm guessing.
Probably not,
All
but
right.
I'm more concerned with just getting information than anything.
Cool. Let's just get a stealth to start, just so that you don't get noticed, because you'll see whatever you see with your eyes. So.
Yeah. My stealth's not great.
That's
But
all right. We'll just kind of see. At a 1, as you come in, most of everything in here is trash. There's glass everywhere. You crunch across glass all over the floor of this bar. And you're able to actually follow very quietly the kind of wiring from outside the bar where this makeshift antenna has been put down to what looks to be the basement or the cellar of this place. And the door is off of it. And you can hear the boisterous voice of the radio that you heard over Billy that he was broadcasting earlier. Very, very blatantly, as if this radio seems to be down in the kind of bunker or basement of this old tavern.
Well, it looks pretty safe so far, so I think I'm going to head back.
Okay. I'm sure she relays all this information and lets you guys know that the location is, in fact, in the basement of that bar.
Yep. I didn't see any.
Is this the
danger.
bar that was bring your own mic?
Right. Is this karaoke bar?
Is this the
This
karaoke
could
bar?
absolutely be the same
Gotta
karaoke
be.
bar. Why wouldn't
Yes.
it be? Absolutely, it's the same karaoke bar. You recognize it, fine, almost instantly as that happens and takes place. Zoom out.
Yeah, Mikey, you hear a little bit of static, and Mikey's just excited.
Yeah.
This is somewhere familiar to him.
Perfect. You're like, oh wait, again, it's that almost delayed response. Wait, I know this place.
You know this place?
I know this place.
It'll
I
be
know
easy
this
to find
place.
the way in. I marked the way, put labels on everything.
Hilarious. Yeah.
I remember there was the front door, but then sometimes when when he would get a little boisterous and a little too loud, he would get kicked out of the door in the alley.
Which one do you think we should enter through?
I would just suggest you avoid the bathroom.
Mikey, do you blame yourself for those times where he was kicked out? Because don't. Choice.
We've been dealing with it for a really long time, Vinny.
Yeah. No, I know what it's like being amplified and being an amplifier. I know. Just don't worry about it, all right? Don't let it keep you down, okay? It was his choice to sing too loud. It was his choice to get kicked out.
He just really liked that one song about believing, and they didn't really like it that much.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. There. And I pat Mikey on the back with my archaic needle.
As you enter through the front door. Oh, did you have something to say there, Billy?
No, I was agreeing it was a powerful song.
Oh.
I do love that song.
I love this boombox so much. It's so chill.
I love that song about believing.
Please stop.
You guys enter and see exactly what was seen before. Broken glass everywhere, which makes actually rolling a bit difficult and almost impossible to be stealthy as your plastic wheels crunch over all of the glass. Actually, hey, look, a new situational aspect.
Hey, look.
I'm gonna put down. It's glassy.
Glassy. Yeah.
Get out of my brain.
Glassy.
Yeah, it's glassy. That's the new situational aspect that can be called upon. The radio that once was broadcasting, at least when you came down last, has now stopped, and silence emanates from the basement.
So I couldn't help but notice that it got very quiet very quickly.
I never went past this one room, this big room with the stage.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps we should go to the back room?
Maybe quietly. Maybe we send out some reconnaissance.
Reconnaissance.
I mean, I'd go, but okay, all right, yeah.
I go. Reconnaissance.
All right.
I'm on it.
So you step down into the basement, kind of clump, 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 down wooden stairs. Not very far, actually. It seems to be a very low ceiling. And you're met with what should have been used as probably booze storage and keg storage. It looks as if the owner of this bar had his own pirate radio. Though, at the time, there's no telling what he was pirating, but it looks like the pirate radio is still here. And it is off. All of the pieces mounted to the wall. You can see the microphone where they would have set. And all the knobs and things, the power seems to kind of be off to it.
I want to, like, hop up on, like, a chair or something.
There's, like, a squeaky, old military green, like, leather chair. And as you hop on it, it, like, around with your like push and weight and swings you to the desk where the microphone is, and as you look around, it's about this time that the light in front of you clicks on. It says on air, and as following it, as the electricity ripples through the room around you, all of the radio pieces start turning on, the bars start emanating, and you see a face appear in one of the mounted large radios in the wall. It looks to have lost an eye. Get it, pirate? And it's been covered over with electrical tape on the patch of where the glass piece has been broken out. And its mouth is made up of the music bars. I don't know what they're called. I'm so bad at vocabulary. Oh, I know what these are called. Anyways.
The levels?
Yeah, the levels. Thank you. Yeah, the volume levels as it speaks to you. And it says, well, you're on air now, kid.
You're broadcasting.
Good morning. It's time for CJ and the Walrus.
Do we hear that? Do we hear that over boomboxes?
Oh yeah, you guys hear it. Yeah, it echoes.
Excellent. I boost the volume in the room.
Billy, you're on the radio.
Coming at you with all the classic hits of whatever we've got.
I've never met anyone who was actually on the radio.
The pirate radio says, well, somebody with a little pizzazz. It's been a long time since I've seen a label maker. My last label peeled off 2 years ago.
Do you need a new one?
If you're offering. I could really use one that says, do not touch above this switch right here.
You move kind of fast. I like it.
Yeah. He says, what brings you to my station?
Oh, the romance between the label maker and this pirate radio station rig. Oh, I love it.
Well, heard your signal and just couldn't help swinging on by.
A signal? Now, no label maker I've ever met has an antenna.
Oh, I know a guy.
I think I'm the guy.
And he says,
It's called from the stairs. I think I'm the guy.
is there an echo in this room or is it just me? The radio is like maybe hearing itself on the boombox upstairs. And it goes, it looks at you and he says, well, as much as I appreciate you labeling my on-off switch, I'm gonna have to feed you to the karaoke machine.
No, you won't.
And this is where we'll end tonight's episode.
Oh no! Still, I want to say while they were talking, I was pulling down the old karaoke curtains and sewing them.
So we'll pick up with the Battle of the Karaoke Machine next week, which should be an interesting bit of fun. But for now, let's go around to you guys, talk about how you're feeling about this game, because it is just super ridiculous. I hope you're all having fun, and let us know who you are and where we can find you online and the other things that you're busy doing. Oh, I'm sorry. I should tell you which order we're going in. Let's start with Mad Gamer. I'm sorry. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, I am Mad Gamer Mag, and man, I love this. This is awesome. You are all awesome. So you're just tons of fun and so much personality. So you're making this fantastic. All of you. And Red Dot, you're just boom, amazing. So,
I'm so glad you got to come by and hang out and roll some dice.
It's good times, man. So Mad Gamer Mag. I'm on Twitter doing foolish and mad gamer things. Mostly just throwing out love to people lately. But I'm working on games, and one of these days I'll share some games with some people. Other than that, I'm just DMing and hanging out with my pals.
Hey, that sounds like the life, friend.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, like I said, I'm really excited to have you here, and I can't wait to see what the Boombox is going to do next week, what shenanigans it may break out with this pirate radio. And let's move directly across now to Kika.
Hey, Kika. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Kika. That's twitch.tv/KKK, and on Twitter at twitter.com/KikaVO. On Thursdays, I am in the mornings on the Greyhawk channel for Secrets of Castle Greyhawk. Thursday evenings, I am on Tales from the Grim for their Dungeon of the Mad Mage stream. Tomorrow I will also be on Waffle Talk because I guest starred on Dice Camera Action yesterday.
How was that?
It was a lot of fun. It was my second time on the show. I love everybody on the show. I love my co-guest stars. It was great. Awesome. And they sent me alone on the most dangerous mission, and I managed to not die.
Nice.
Yeah. Sundays, I'm also on Soul Bear RPG. And every other Monday, I am on Off the Table, where I play Invisible Sun. Run by my good friend, Wise Papa Grant.
Oh, the wisest.
Yeah. And in a couple months, I will be on an actual play podcast.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I'm doing a lot of things.
I was going to say, the last time I talked, there were so many of those things not being done. That's great.
Yeah. A lot of those things I was, like, talking to people about getting running, and I couldn't talk to you yet because things weren't decided. But, yeah. A lot of things going on. So yeah, you can find me around. So far, this game is so much fun. I already love all the characters, and the group dynamic is really really interesting. I like playing the sort of one badass of the party who doesn't quite get everyone else and is just like, I'm just gonna go.
There's household appliances, yo.
Yeah. This is fun.
Oh man,
I like that.
Yeah, I'm glad you're having a good time. Yeah, like I said, I've been so excited about this, and honestly, I've been really nervous because I didn't know how it would all work out. Like in my brain, it said it would be really fun and ridiculous, but then there's also that part of me that's like, we're gonna launch this, and people are like, the fuck are these people doing? Playing appliances, rolling dice. But no, it's turned out great, and you've like I said, when you brought the label maker to the table, it just like it opened my eyes to new appliances. I was like, I've been thinking so small. What else could possibly there be in the world of appliances? So,
really guess anything.
Yeah, it could be anything. Which is very exciting. So awesome. Moving right up to Katie Face.
Hey, this was so good. I've Brave Little Toaster is one of my favorite childhood movies. I don't know why, because now watching it as an adult, it's traumatizing.
Yes.
But this was really, really good. I can't wait to play the rest of the little campaign with you guys. It has been so amazing. I love it. It's great. You can find me on Twitter at KatieFace. And I do a lot of stuff through Off the Table. I do the social media there, and as well as cast member in a lot of games. A lot of stuff's coming in February that we haven't announced yet. But I'm also on Tuesdays, I'm on the Grey Hawk channel during the day playing D&D. On Thursdays, I'm on Scraticus's channel. I run D&D viewer games. I also, Off the Table has a Monster Hearts 2 actual play podcast. Session 11 just came out Monday, I think. We're supposed to upload them every Saturday. Never happens on time. It will never happen on time. But yeah, you can just follow me on Twitter. I have a pinned post of everything I do. I do a lot of games on my channel as well. And I have some stuff in the pipeline coming up. So yeah, this was so much fun. Thank you. I can't wait for more.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what you guys do with next week. Awesome. Yeah, and of course, welcome you back to the channel because you've been here a few times before. So I'm glad to have you. Myth.
Man, I'm still reeling from how much fun that was. Really love the game. Love it so far. I mean, like last week we were talking about characters, and I was like, you know what, this is gonna be so good. And just because we were doing like even theory crafting of or lore crafting of everything, even in character creation. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah. Anyway, it was a blast. I can't get over how awesome it was. So thank you. I can't wait for next week. You guys are all awesome. Your characters are great. And it's wonderful. My name is Mythomatic. You can follow me on Twitter and Twitch with the same name. I'm a role player and voice actor. You can follow me there for anything that's going on. As of late, I've been playing a lot of Atlas, and as well I've been recording a lot of the footage, and hopefully going to give you guys something to watch in the YouTube later. Got several games throughout the week, but you can just follow me on Twitter, and I can keep you abreast to when those are live, and when you could come on by and check it out. So thanks a lot, and thanks again, everybody, for being here. And thank you, Little Red Dot, for this one.
Of course. And last but certainly not least, Left Love Lindy.
Hi, that was super duper fun. I get to be the curmudgeon-y kind of old lady who's like, damn this electricity. But oh, hi, hello, antique appliances. My arch not electric. Kinetic motion. Absolutely love it. Can't wait to see how more of the connections develop between all the characters and how we fight off this jukebox while I try to do some sewing. She's just gonna be like, quiet down, you youngins. Electrical babbles. Just unplug him. It'll be fine. My gosh.
Get off my lawn.
Get out of my parlor. But you can find me online at LaughLoveLindy on the Twitches and the Twitters, all the social medias, basically. I am in a lot of tabletop RPGs, both DMing and as a player. I'm about 12 at last count, I think. So if you want to see me DMing, you should check out Encounter Roleplay Tuesday evenings from 5 to 8 Eastern, where I'm DMing Call of Cthulhu, Beyond the Mountains of Madness, and then an hour after that from 9 to 11 Eastern on my channel, I'm DMing Mists of Ravenloft, which is taking all the 1st and 2nd edition Ravenloft modules and converting them up to 5e, which is super duper fun and super spooky. And Thursday nights, I DM on Scraticus's channel from about 10:30 to 1:30 PM to AM, and it's basically Space Pirates. It's in Dark Matter 5th edition, so D&D Space Pirates, and it's a lot of fun so far. Very goofy shenanigans, kind of like this. So everything else, just follow me on the Twitters. I post when I'm playing and stuff. So
very nice, very cool. Yeah, lots of new shows for you too. I'm Little Red Dot. This is my channel. This Fate of the Appliance Wars is a little thing that I cooked up to overlay with the incredible and my probably favorite base gaming system, Fate Core. I love it so much with every fiber of my being. It allows me to be stupidly creative, like, want to play a game where everybody plays appliances in a post-apocalyptic world. So you can check out my YouTube channel actually for more Fate Core. I've played through 2 small campaigns of Fate of Cthulhu, and we did the Fate of the Anchorman. I'm hoping to actually publish all the Fate of the Anchorman content so that you can play your own anchor team or production team lost in the world of Anchorman. That hopefully should be out in February, and then I will be following it up hopefully after we finish this with Fate of the Appliance Wars, so that you too can bring appliances to your table with friends. So that's me. When I'm not here doing this, I play on a lot of other awesome networks, which you can check my schedule below to see that. But you can catch me every other Monday with Nerd Immersion for Princess of the Apocalypse. You can catch me now on Tuesdays for Emberwind over on Unmade Gaming's channel. We'll be right here for the month of February into March with Fate of the Appliance Wars. Thursday night, starting not next week, but at the end of the month, the 30th, I'll be over with Pro Restarter for a brand new D&D campaign that I'll be GMing called The Little Things, where everybody's playing adolescents in the world of Faerun and what is their lives like when you're not fully grown. Let's see, is that all of it? Oh, and then Saturdays, of course, you can catch me over on Roll For It's channel playing in a Vampire the Masquerade campaign, Sounds of Silence. I get to wear dreadlocks every Saturday. It's what I live for. Yeah, that's kind of the bigs and the longs and the shorts of it. And then, of course, if you want to catch me somewhere other than Twitch, you can do so by checking out the North by Northwest podcast, which is my D&D 5e home, where I also play a mushroom, because who doesn't love mushrooms? Okay, so there's where you can find me throughout the week. I do hope you guys are right back here next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm hoping to have the lag situation figured out. It looked to be a lot better the second half than it was the first half, so I'm going to check on that again next week and try something new that Myth tossed a little hint at me. So I'm going to try to figure that out before next week, so things may run a lot smoother. So continue to follow the channel, check it out, and make sure you hit the follow button so you know when I go live, because sometimes I just play video games. I've launched my Switch Bitch on Twitch sessions, where now you can come watch me play some Switch. That's about the long and short of it. We will see you guys next week. Same appliance time, same appliance channel. And until then, don't do anything a sexy pirate radio wouldn't do, I think, is really the lesson I learned tonight.
Well, speak for yourself.
Bye!